rescuing the hopeless, the hurting, and the homeless in the spirit of the story of the Good Samaritan in the Bible. And if you think about that story, if the Good Samaritan hadn't stopped, he could have had compassion like a lot of us do and walked by, but if he hadn't stopped, the man dies.
We have a tremendous network of volunteers that really support the ministry and make possible what we do every day.
Part of what separates us from some other programs is that our folks are active, and they are very actively trying to work on putting their life together.
It takes a special person that wants to really reach out.
I've grown spiritually so much since I've been in Tallahassee that it's just unbelievable to me.
Our program participants are working alongside our customers and our volunteers, and they begin to form relationships that are healthy and helpful and supportive. And it's not uncommon for some of our folks to even have job opportunities develop out of that.
Now have a full-time job here and a chance to work full-time for the ministry. So it's just the ability for a person to be able to come in, get rescued, get help, get hope, back on his feet, and a plan, a good plan, and to see it forward. And the encouragement of staff is awesome.
The ministry has been wonderful for me. First of all, just making sure I had a roof over my head, and that was an awesome thing. But secondly, too, the ministry's helped me to be able to develop some of my skills that I've always had, but just kind of never developed.
We're not trying to change the world. We're just doing what we felt like God would have us do, just like the Good Samaritan.
But we do all this for one reason, and it's to help bring our men, women, and children into a deeper relationship with God. This is our mission.
So the ministry's helped me with the responsibilities that they've given me. That's helped me grow in my own spiritual faith. So it's been a really good relationship.
Areas where I've been, they're primarily men coming out of prison, and or incarceration. And there's a possibility that we're working with some other partners to expand that, and it would go from approximately 34 beds to as many as 125 beds that come back to our community one way or the other. And maybe for one reason or another, especially some of the high-risk situations, really are become hopeless. And when men become hopeless, they become dangerous to themselves and to the community. So we're hopeful that that will take place. Good, but the village itself has 34 spots for men to stay in. Most of the guys come here are coming either out of prison or they've been in prison and they're having trouble getting readjusted. Part of our model is to have the people that are in residence with us to help earn their own way out of it. 4 guys in there, kitchen area, storage area, bathroom for each one of the groups of 6, up to 6 guys. They're not always full, but looks like this one's empty right now. But in fact, I think we have 5 empty beds now, which is very unusual. Normally we're at capacity with a waiting list. We don't want the guys to feel like they're in a prison or they're in like a shelter type of environment. We want them to feel like they're in community, because they are. And so this is just where they live in our community. And it's designed, each area is designed a little bit around, like a lot of people want to move where there's good school districts or good hospitals or whatever, and our guys need to come where there's good supportive services so that they can have a fighting chance to get on their feet. This is our baby here. This is the one freezer that we keep where we cook out of, and you can see it's just stocked with everything from turkeys to bacon to frozen potatoes, and that's a deep freezer too. And then we have several more freezers in the storage area that I was telling you about, where we have venison and that type of thing. So it's really important because these guys work hard. Most of these guys go out and work in the lawn service care, the thrift stores. We have furniture moving with our thrift stores, related to our thrift stores out there in the hot. And so the guys get a good breakfast. They get a good supper. Those that are here or close by can eat lunch here. If a guy gets here straight off the bus and has nothing, we could take him in, and we have toiletry bags, clothes, anything a guy would need to function. So if he came with absolutely nothing, he'd be okay.
There's many reasons why a man may need here. Some could be just simple bad financial planning. Others may be drug addiction. Others could be family problems that they need to resolve so that they can get back in with their families. 13
total units will be built over there, so there shouldn't be anybody in Tallahassee that doesn't have a good place to live when this is done.
The need in this area is just overwhelming. Daily I have men walking off the street asking if we have a place for them to stay. And daily I have men calling and begging for us to interview them so they can get into the Good Samaritan house.
And we're trying as a ministry to route them in the right direction so that the ultimate goal is met, and that's transition to independent living.
Being on disability, I'm limited in what my monthly value can pay an apartment, and so I kept running into that problem. And what it's literally done is allowed me to live a better lifestyle, a more affordable lifestyle.
That's what it's about, is for us to help the men understand that, first of all, they're not alone. But secondly, that there's a group of people that care, that are willing to take the steps necessary to move them in the right direction. And then thirdly, to see them respond to that, that's an awesome thing.
That's the fun part of my day every day, is being able to really reach out to men that are hurting and needing help and help guide them in the direction that they want to go.
The hope is starting to really grow here. Now you can walk around this place, you see men with smiles on their face, you see men relaxing. They know that they've got some good people behind them that are trying to help move them in the right direction.
The Chelsea House is a Christian home for women, and it helps families that are in crisis, single women that are in crisis, and we just show them the love of Jesus and provide a safe place for them to call home while they're going through their crisis and their difficulties. Chelsea was a young lady that came through our ministry when we were down at the Haven of Rest Rescue Mission. She was 29 years old and pregnant with her 7th baby, and just lost, angry, hurt, had gone through some terrible life experiences and was really in a hopeless state. So we both knelt down in my office and she gave her heart to the Lord, and it was her desire to go to school, become a social worker, and open up a Christian home for women like her. And so we began working on the project together, and it just started out real small, a little fundraiser here, and working on support groups. And we started our team ministry actually out of the support groups and the Bible studies and the tea parties, and we still do that to this day, and that's been 8 years plus and still going. Some of the same ladies that started back then are still coming to the support groups. They're still homeless, they're still out in the communities. But we've been able to rescue a lot of girls off the streets out from those relationships that we formed through that. Chelsea's pregnancy, as she progressed, she ran into complications and ended up having premature birth, gave birth to her son, Andre, and ran into complications and died. So baby Andre survived and she passed away. And when that happened, it was devastating to the homeless community and to all of us that were working with her. And I asked God, why, did you take her and leave the baby here? I didn't quite understand why, but He's a sovereign God, and so we believe that when He does things for reasons that we don't always know. There were many Chelseas in this world, and He would do more through her homegoing than He would have if she would have stayed here. A couple of weeks before she passed away, we were baptizing people in our portable baptistry down at the Mission, and Chelsea, very pregnant, said, "Mr. Glenn, don't let that water out." And she waddled up there and she was baptized, and when she came up out of the water, you could just see a glorious smile. It's like the glory of the Lord was shining on her. We opened the doors 7 months later after she passed away. The Chelsea House was opened July 7th, 2007, Unit 7, at 7 o'clock. We brought our first woman in. We've had hundreds of women, dozens of children, a few pets along the way, have come in and out of our doors, for some just for a night, some for weeks, some for months, some for years. They've come from all different backgrounds for different reasons, different seasons, but all of them have at least had the hand of God, and they've been touched with God's love, whether it was just for a night or longer. "15 people in 2 tents. They just got there a few days ago. They have a 15-passenger van. They came from New Mexico. And all we could do, we had canned goods, but no way to cook it. We gave them a few Bibles, and they appreciated that. And so Glenn and I started down the road, and we said, and we both kind of had the same feeling. How can we, in good conscience, go back to our air conditioning and our food and our refrigerators and our comfortable life and cable television when we just left this family stranded, and they're our brothers and sisters in Christ. So when we pull back in there, we just left there, they're like, And the two women just started tearing up, and they said, "You don't know." They said, "We appreciate the food, and we don't want you to think we're not thankful. But the thing we appreciated the most was when you prayed for us." We're just going to take it a day at a time and bring them into the Chelsea house, and we don't really have enough room for. We're going to make room. You know, we'll figure it out. And so it just feels like, you know, Jesus is all over this. You know, we're right where he is. And to have that honor to be able to really help truly a situation where it's a genuine situation, and people that are genuinely thankful, and you know, to be able to be a part of that is pretty exciting.
The Lord is leading us to a place in the world that doesn't receive traditional missionaries in a friendly way. So we just want to be able to glorify God and what he's done in providing this housing, but we don't want to compromise being able to get visas and that type of thing into that country.
A new place called the Good Samaritan House at Chateau de Ville. That's really a townhouse that's been donated to us to use by a wonderful friend of the ministry, and when we got that, it's a one-bedroom apartment. Well, that really doesn't fit any of our normal models, and so we didn't know what to do with it. And why did we get it?
There's no one that is supporting us as far as a mission organization or a group of churches. We're just going as tent makers. The step of getting that training was to come here, study at a 2-month program that the university has here. But we didn't have any housing, and it's hard to find housing for that period of time, much less furnished housing.
And Beth, God just put it on her heart. She said, "How about a missionary home?" And I thought, well, you know, what do we have to do with that? You know, we've invited missionaries to our own home before, but to set somebody up like that, I didn't see. There's so many other organizations that do that type of thing. I never really see us get involved in it. But
our plan was to leave on October the 12th. So that was like within 10 days, we still had no housing. And the Lord graciously provided through the pastor, who we'd only met for a short time, who had been praying for us, through Glenn and Beth's ministry, who I'm not sure if we actually met them that Sunday or not, and also through the owner of this apartment. So people that we largely didn't know, that God was moving in the background to orchestrate a way to surprise us and glorify his name. This has been really honoring to his name and the way he's provided, and it's kind of really helped to encourage us in our calling as well, confirming we're on the right path.